in your recording? Perfect. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. We are doing a pizza, Ovana and Thermomix. So the ultimate companion, just to tie in with the current offer that's available till 22nd of August, 11 a.m. You get a half price Ovana with your TM6 purchase. Some of us have earned it. Some of our consultants have bought their own. Some of my customers and our customers have bought them and absolutely loving them. I've had pizza parties, pumped them out in 90 seconds. And if anyone's tried it, it is like an Italian pizza. It puffs up on the outside. The flavour is the same, but it's just run by your gas bottle. Where is it? There's our pizza oven there. So I've got all my toppings. So what we're going to do tonight is have Rochelle and Joe, other team leaders in our branch, and you've got Hannah helping out as well. They're going to do, because the Thermomix works with the pizza oven. So, you make your dough in there, your pizza sauce, you prep your toppings, all different stuff. Like even like Rochelle and I were talking about tandoori pizza. Like I make the tandoori paste, pop that on your pizza, serve it with a nice yogurt, tzatziki, raita on top. So many different things, and they really work really well together. The other good thing about the Ovana as well is it's not just for pizzas. You get a sizzle pan, you can do steak, you could do naan bread. I think Hannah did baba ganoush, so she roasted her eggplant in there and then did that, which would have been absolutely delicious. And you can just do, a whole range of different stuff. So, I think that's me for now. Just going to see who is up next. Let me have a look. Jo, you're going to start with her sauce. Over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nat, and a big, big welcome in for everyone who has joined us. We might have a few more jump in throughout. So what I'm going to do, now I'm not as fortunate as Nat to have an Ovana already. I'll be getting one soon. We get a chance to earn them as consultants, which is pretty exciting. So both Rochelle and I are working towards getting ours at the moment. So I'll have one soon. But for now, I have to do my pizzas in the oven, which I still do pretty regularly because we love homemade pizzas, but they do take a little while and I can only do one, cook another one. So it's a bit of a drag on pizza nights, but homemade pizzas are pretty amazing. So we do still do it, but I can't wait to get my Ovana. So what I'm going to do tonight is kick off with a pizza sauce. This is actually, it's called a tomato pasta sauce. So it's something that you can just mix through some pasta, but you can also use it then as a pizza sauce to spread on the bottom of your pizzas. I'll use this in pizza scrolls and in a few different things as well. I'm going to kick off with this one, and then while it's cooking, I'm going to show you guys the dough as well. So first thing we do with the pizza sauce is pop in about 120 grams of onion and a clove of garlic. A little bit of olive oil, like anything. This calls for 50 grams of olive oil. You put in how much you like. If you're not a big fan of that much olive oil, I only put in about 20 grams or so. Put in however much you'd like. Pop our lid on. Be a little bit noisy, and the Thermomix is going to chop that all up. And we're done. So we're going to scrape this down. Show you guys, I've probably all seen a Thermomix before, but there we go. I would love to know, I don't know some of the names in here. Can you pop into the chat box, if you can find it, what model Thermomix you have? Or if you don't yet have one. Now, while you're doing that, the next step for this one is a 7-minute cook time. So I'm a lucky consultant that has 2 Thermomixes. I've earned them both. So I'm actually going to pop this one over here, just out of view, so it can just do that longer cook time, because for you guys, you're only going to be watching it go round and round. So while that cooks for 7 minutes, I'm going to click my other bowl in, and we're going to get started with the pizza dough. Alrighty, so select my pizza dough, and what have we got here in the chat box? A TM6, a few TM6s, I love that. A TM5, awesome. All right, so if you haven't put that in there, let us know what model you have. Looks like everybody has one, which is awesome. All right, to kick off with this, we're going to pop in 220 grams of lukewarm water. Have any of you guys made pizza dough at home before in your Thermi? pop it into the chat box or come off mute and let us know. My scales are on here, so we're just weighing in that pizza dough.
It is the best. It's so fast, isn't it, to make it?
Isn't it? I absolutely love it.
It like
Many
needed 2
times.
minutes. It's just crazy.
It's so good. All right, a little bit of sugar and 2 teaspoons of yeast. So I'm going to pop them both in. While this heats up, while this mixes around, it's only 20 seconds. Does anyone know why we pop a little bit of sugar in? You can come off mute and let me know, or pop it into the chat box. You can see there's a few of you that make it, which is awesome. Many times, heaps, all the time. Makes the yeast active, absolutely. So the sugar isn't something that you have to do. If you prefer to leave the sugar out and reduce the amount of sugar that you're having, you can absolutely leave the sugar out. Just got to make sure that your yeast is nice and strong. So my yeast is a little bit old, and I take my yeast with me every time I do a cooking experience and I go to someone's house. So it's spending quite a lot of time out of the fridge. For those of you who have had yeast for a while, it is something that likes to be kept alive, and it works best when it is kept sealed and like out of the air, airtight, and when it's kept in the fridge. So because mine's a little bit old and it's spent lots of time out of the fridge, it's just starting to lose a little bit of its oomph. So I'm popping a little teaspoon of sugar in my recipes just to make sure that it activates nice and quick and I'm not having any problems waiting for my yeast to come alive. All right, next thing I'm popping in is my baker's flour. So I buy my baker's flour in a big bulk bag, which makes it so cheap to make, which I absolutely love. So 400 grams of baker's flour. All right. And a little bit more olive oil in here. So the same deal with this one. You don't have to stick to the exact amount, pop in as much as you'd like. 30 grams the recipe is. A bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt. And that is it. Pop my lid on. And this is going to go away kneading. So 2 minutes this kneads for. And my pizza store still has 3 minutes or so to go. While I'm waiting for these two things to finish up, we don't want to keep you guys on here for very long. We want to keep this nice and short. So would either Nat or Rochelle like to jump in for 3 or so minutes and fill in a little bit of time?
I will, because my dough is super quick. So I am going to do a gluten-free pizza base. So there's a couple of gluten-free options you can do. If I was doing a dinner pizza, I would probably do Quirky Cooking's cauliflower. Oh, there's a lot. I do a cauliflower-based pizza dough. I've got a new setup here, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see me and the Thermomix, but the Thermomix is more important. So look here. But today I'm actually going to do one. It's an almond-based pizza base. And the reason I'm doing this one is because I'm actually going to make a dessert pizza. So it's just called gluten-free pizza base. And it's for TM31, TM5 and TM6. So it just has to preheat the oven because I don't have an Ovana. Very annoying. So we just have 260 grams of raw almonds. Close enough. And a quick blitz of them. I like when you're Thermomixing, you can hear, you learn to cook by sound. I can hear that that's already finished, so I'll just move along. So that's also how you can have almond meal on your shelf instead of buying just buy almonds. You don't have to buy almond meal then. 2 tablespoons of arrowroot. I have that here. So this is I don't love cauliflower base with a dessert pizza. Something's not quite right about that. So this is my go-to for anything sweet. But yeah, if I was doing a 1 teaspoon of baking powder, if I was doing a traditional like dinner one, I definitely go the cauliflower. Does anyone else eat gluten-free or grain-free? This one's actually completely grain-free. Some salt. Okay, so it says garlic powder. I actually like to use a herb, and so it has garlic powder, and then the next step is dried basil. So what I do like about this recipe is I just put whatever the amount I like. So I really like this herb and garlic lemon seasoning, which is the last of my purchased Master Foods. Look, it's so old. It's the last of my purchased Master Foods, you know, seasoning like this, because I've managed to replace them all with my own. So now that I've had Thermomix for a year, so season to your own taste. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And 2 eggs. I'm just going to quickly grab sorry, I don't know everyone. I live on a farm, so you should do this all the time anyway, but I always will crack into a bowl first on my farm because I don't know where the kids got these eggs from.
I love those little bowls. Are they the bamboo bowls?
Yeah, the bamboo. These are from the mix shop. These were supposed to be for work, but I use them every day.
Me too.
And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We have an olive grove right next to our house. So I would say when you're doing something simple like a dough, use like the best salt you can and the best olive oil you can, because they're, you know, simple. When it's a simple recipe, those flavors make a difference. So this is Lisbourne Grove, if anyone wants to know, just in the Hunter Valley, homegrown. It's beautiful.
How lucky are you?
It's so, it's the best. With that quick mix. I couldn't even defrost a, if I was to buy a grain-free pizza base, besides the ridiculous cost that would be, I couldn't even defrost one that quick, hey? So just give that a quick turn. Okay. And then we just turn that out onto the, so this is sticky. I'm just going to quickly flour my hands with some arrowroot and then roll that just like a traditional dough. Are you going to do, oh, you've already done yours, Joe. Look at yours. So I suppose the only thing I just want to say about the difference between a dough, so grain-free, baker's flour, whatever you're doing. So obviously, Joe, did you just use your fingers and push that out? Oh, that's Matt's.
Yeah, that's me. I just do my fingers. This dough is the Napolitan dough.
So you can keep the air in it. Yeah. So this is the grain-free is don't want to use a
rolling pin
because it's super sticky. Yeah. So if you can see that texture, sorry, that's a really terrible. It's quite a sticky texture. So I just would moisten my fingers and push that into place. But I do the same with that dough that you have there, Joe. Is that what you do with your fingers or with a rolling pin?
Yeah, I found for pizzas, and not so much myself because I am just doing them in the oven, but some of my other consultants who have the Ovana found particularly that when it comes to doing the wood-fired pizzas and doing them in the Ovana, it does make a really big difference to press them out as opposed to rolling them out. So,
and to use the other dough too, that other recipe, because it's wetter. It's just because you're cooking it at such high heat. It's I don't know the scientific way, but it pulls that moisture out and you just get that airy floppiness. Different to an oven.
Yeah. So this is just the basic pizza dough, and if you don't have a pizza oven, this is a good one to do for just at home. Sometimes I do half wholemeal flour to add a little extra something into it. But if you've got the Ovana, definitely go with the other pizza dough.
The oven one too good is I often do the pizza bianca because it only needs a 15-minute proof. So if you need a really quick, if you just decide on the night I want to have pizza, that's another great option for your oven as well. Yeah. Awesome.
Do you want to go on and do your hat?
Should we cook some pizzas?
Yeah, I'm going to get the side one and throw some baking paper on it, flip it over and throw that in the oven, which will be super boring. So you show us how good yours are.
Jo's chopping some cheese first, isn't she?
Oh, I'll just finish my sauce off.
I think Rochelle was... chopping cheese? I'm not sure.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, do your sauce, Joe.
So my obviously while Rochelle was talking, my dough finished kneading, so I've just gotten that out. If you've never have done dough before, isn't it nice how well it all comes out, the pizza dough? It's not sticky or anything, so it's a really easy clean out of your bowl with a quick dough pre-clean, and that one will be all done. And this one here was my onion and garlic that we just sauteed off. So for this pizza sauce, it's a little bit of a longer saute. It's about 7 minutes, which is why I stopped and went on with the other things. But once that's done, we pop in about 800 grams of tomatoes. Now, this calls for canned crushed tomatoes, but I do believe that if you have fresh tomatoes in season, they work pretty well as well. Now, we've got a teaspoon of sugar, a little bit of salt, and some fresh basil. Fresh basil is not in season. It's not growing here at the moment, so I've just gone with dried. But if it is in season, it's definitely the best. And then this goes on for 20 minutes. So there's a little bit of time involved in making your own sauce, but I really suggest that you do it beforehand. It is so nice to have your own. And then you can always freeze it. I freeze mine in an ice cube tray, and then I have just cubes of tomato sauce. When I need some for a pizza, I just pull out a couple of cubes at a time, and then there's no waste at all, and I have it ready to go.
Awesome. I know it makes a massive difference, doesn't it, when you have your own pizza sauce? So I've made, so here's something I read earlier. I can say that like a cooking show, can't we? So Joe's doing the cookadoo pizza sauce. I actually make the skinny mixes, which is a free recipe on their website, pizza sauce. I've made both. They're both good. This one just is a little bit different. It has capsicum in it, so it's just a little different flavour. But like Joe was saying, it's really versatile. Like her one is the pasta sauce. You can use this for so many different things, not just for pizza. So let's assemble this pizza and show you get cooking. So our oven is at the right temperature. So I've just pushed out our dough. We're just going to do it. So the trick with this is not to put too much topping on. So I'm just going to spread some sauce. So this first one will be, we're just doing a kid's pizza, ham, mushroom, and olives. So I normally pop the pizza sauce first, and I've grated in the Thermi a mixture of mozzarella and a little bit of like an extra tasty cheese. I put a little bit of that on the base, and then we got some chopped ham. Can you guys see this okay? Is it close enough?
Yeah, looks great.
Awesome. I'll pop some ham on. And some mushroom. But less is more when you're doing this because they're cooking so quick in 90 minutes. If you overload it, which I did with a couple of pizzas at our party because they wanted extra cheese and topping, and a couple of people put so much topping on and it didn't actually cook the dough properly. But you can, if you want to do higher, just I had to turn the oven down just a little bit, and then that helped it. So you want it about, we sort of turn it on about half an hour before, get it up to about 400 or so. You want it at least 350 for the stone to be 350, not so just the oven. So if you just get the oven to 350, the stone's actually less than that. So you want to go as high as you can so that the stone's nice and high. And then a bit of bocconcini, and then we're done. All right. So the trick as well, you can see on the mat, semolina. So this is here. And that was what you pop underneath, heaps of it underneath, and that will stop it from sticking. So when we get this, yep, we'll bring this over. So you've got this, what's it called? Paddle. Okay, here goes hubby. I'm going to get him to do it. Ready? You want to grab the end? Ready? Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Now I'm going to move the camera so you guys can see the oven. So we're going to take the door off. Try not to get in the light. There you go. Yep. There we go. So there's our pizza. So you can see the flames on the left. So you're going to have to keep an eye on it now. And you get another little paddle. It's a round one. I'll show you this one. And this is what you're going to do. And you're going to have to turn it regularly as you cook it. So I'll just try and keep the camera here and we'll watch.
I'm just watching the side.
Yeah. So okay, there's the temperature gauge up here. Just, where is it? There it is. So you just got to keep an eye on the side. Can you see how that's starting to bubble already on the left? Look at that. Can you see that cheese bubbling already? So don't burn my phone, hey. All right, so it's just going to do a turn. You just got to do that regularly so that it just starts. You can see at the back. Can you guys see that bubbling away? Good. It's like a taste for everyone you're watching, but it's really fast. What's everyone's favourite pizza toppings? That's what I'd like to know. I'm always looking for inspiration. Pop it in the chat. What are your combinations of toppings if you make pizza? What are your go-tos and what do you have? Or when you go out and order pizza, what do you love having? Veggie pizzas, yum. Chicken and camembert, yum. Pulled pork and slaw. Oh, I never thought to put slaw on it. Interesting. Look at the bubbles.
You put
You
the
can see that. Hey.
you put the flour on cold.
Yeah, yum. Can you see the crust just popping up? It's beautiful. It's been proving for a few hours. Eddie needs an hour, but I just left it because it's not hot today.
And is that why you left the edges? I noticed you didn't put the tomato all the
Yeah.
way to the edge. No.
Yeah, just because we like a nice, you want that nice crust. You know the Italian pizzas have that nice crust, and it always bubbles around the edge. You can see inside there. It's a bit amazing. You guys happy to watch while we do it?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Me too.
If anyone's local, I get some pizza. Oh, this is probably the best dough I've done.
Your husband looks like he's done this before.
What was that?
Paul looks like he's done it before, professional.
Oh yeah, he does. I did it at the party and probably wasn't, I wasn't as good. I still learning.
Couple of goes and you'll have it down pat.
I was trying to turn it with the other one. That's why the paddle first, because he's always done it, and then I was making it at the party, and then once I had that thing, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And both of those things come with it, don't they?
Yes. Yep. Definitely. You get all your bits and
cool.
pieces that you need, so you can get cooking.
Well, that looks good.
No, it's not far off.
This is not like the Thermomix. You cannot walk away.
That is true. See, the crust is looking delicious. Yep, a couple more turns and then we are probably done. Let's get out the light. It smells like we're at an Italian restaurant. I'm not kidding. The neighbours are going to be like, I'm jealous. I want pizza. Right, do you want to turn that one? Nearly done.
Oh, looks so good.
Look at it. You see it bubbling?
That looks delicious.
Yeah. All right, I think we grab it out. What I'm going to do is grab a board. Yep, pop it on here.
Yeah, that looks good.
Check that out. What do you guys think?
You know how
Can
you
you
said it would be great if I lived closer? I really
Yeah.
think that's true now.
Do you wish you did now?
Extra think I did.
Yeah.
Do
Okay,
you
let's.
know what it makes me? That makes me think. I've heard you can't put too much toppings on it, but that actually looks like a decent amount of topping.
Yeah, I think it's like you don't need to be too scant with it, but sort of see how it's sort of
No, that's
spread
good.
out, not too overloaded, not too much
Yeah.
cheese and wet. Like if you're having things like pineapple, like to really squeeze the moisture out with your paper towel first, because that can wet it.
Yep.
But these sort of ingredients aren't so wet, so
Yeah.
can you hear that crunch?
What did you say was a wet ingredient, Nat? I just didn't.
Pineapple.
Kinda.
Even in the oven, if I don't drain it,
Yeah.
I'll have a soggy base. It's just comes out as it cooks. God, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
See the air?
That's amazing.
Doesn't it look at the, hang on, I'll bring it on this side so the light's there. Look at that.
Much fingers.
How? Look at the air in that. Can you see that?
Crust.
Yep, that's the word. Thank you. In the crust. All right. Should we taste test? Okay.
It feels a bit mean, but okay.
I can tell you, if someone brought this home to you and said that they got it at the local Italian, you wouldn't question it, especially when you're using your own pizza sauce. That is a real big key. But yeah, awesome. Thanks for dinner, girls.
Awesome.
All right.
I was a little bit behind the 8 ball. I'm just going to quickly show a quick money
We'll
saving.
do that and we'll come back after.
Yep, come straight back to Nat, just money saving. So I'm sure you guys all know this because you've got your Thermomixes. To buy a big block of cheese, which is just cheese, and Parmesan, you could get whatever types of cheese instead of buying the bag of mixed pizza cheese, which is actually quite expensive because it's already cut and it's got multiple ingredients in it. You can just grab a block of that, chunk up some, just to save your blades a bit, chunk up some sizes of cheese and just throw that in the bowl and blitz your own cheese. That I put that in little portions in my freezer. I just learned how to do that. I didn't think you could. I better get out of the recipe. I didn't think you could freeze cheese. All these things you learn being a Thermomixer. I haven't even checked the how long this goes for. Who knows cheese? I just guess. I can hear it. Does anyone know cheese? Oh, it's not a stir.
I actually just use turbo for cheese.
Ah, look at that.
I use turbo for everything. Almond meal, breadcrumbs, cheese, everything.
So turbo is a TM6 mode. So
yeah. And
then you just listen for how many times, Nat? Eh?
Yeah. So when I do, like if I do mainland, that brand is a bit softer. I do it maybe 3 seconds. If it's like a harder tasty, probably at 4. If it's mozzarella, yeah, do it 2 seconds, and then I just, like you said, you listen another second and hear it. Yeah.
I suppose that's better than turning it down all the time, like I do.
It's so much easier. It's one of my favorite modes of the TM6.
It's actually so satisfying to hear the woohoo, I saved money. That's what it sounds like to me. I saved money. That's what it calls out to me.
And you've got the turbo function. Colette's got in the chat there. The turbo function is on the TM5 and the TM31 in a different way, so they can access it as well.
Unlock. It's not happy.
Wow, that is so good. If you don't have a pizza oven, you need to get one. I'm not joking.
One more.
You need to earn it, girls.
My way.
Like Michelle was saying before, I blitz up about 1 kilo. I do it in about 4 to 5 batches. I bet about 200 grams at a time. It takes me probably a minute to do all that. And then I whack it in the freezer in one of my silicone Ziploc bags. And I just give it a bash. That's not the right language, I suppose. Give it a tap on the bench when I get it out of the freezer, and it breaks everything up, because obviously when you buy your pre-grated cheese, it has all the anti-caking agent and stuff on it, which stops it sticking together. So, but I find when I freeze it, if I sort of bring it out the next day, do that tap on the bench and break it up, it then stays broken up from there on. So as long as it doesn't get any moisture in there, it actually stays easily scoopable. So when I'm doing my Taco Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday lunches, I can just get out for my lunch and sprinkle it on my taco bowl and then go from there. So look at that. Beautiful.
Definitely. So cool. That's all I was going to show. Joe, you've got some, are you blitzing some more things?
I think you had a pizza sauce.
Yeah, my pizza sauce is nearly finished. I'm just going to stop it for a second so I can show you something else. It's cooking away. It's got a couple of minutes left. But you guys did see Nat's pizza sauce there, so it's nothing totally different to that. I just have some bacon here. This is just a few rashers of bacon. I throw the whole things in, so don't even bother cutting it up or anything, but whole rashers in and give them a little bit of a chop. So when I'm cutting up things like bacon and mushrooms and those softer veggies or bits of meat, instead of just giving them a straight blitz on something like turbo or on those higher speeds, I put my blades on reverse. And that uses the blunt side of the blade and just gives them a more of a gentle cut, which means I end up with bigger chunks at the end instead of it just being completely shredded. So I'm just going to click home, get out of that recipe, put my blades on reverse, and I go around to about speed 4.5. You can sort of watch it, listen to it again like Michelle was doing with the cheese. And it will depend, let me give it a little bit longer. It'll depend a little bit on the type of bacon. This one was actually from one of our local farmers, which is exciting. I haven't used it before. Slightly different with the rind on it. But there is mine. You can see my rind's a little bit chunky, but that'll be great on my pizzas. And that is my bacon all chopped up. So depending on the different things, if you're going to be chopping up mushrooms, I'd suggest using a similar sort of speed, maybe that speed 3.5 or 4. So it cuts them up a little bit, not super, super shredded. Things like capsicum and that you can cut a bit smaller. Something like onions, you might want to put around to a speed 7 or a speed 8 and cut that up a little bit finer as well. So totally depends on the different things that you are cutting up as to what blade speeds that you will use. And that's something that your consultant can help you with as well if you're unsure as to what speed do I use. I'm not really sure about doing that manual stuff. There is a chunk in the back of your basic cookbook, which you all have with your Thermomix, which is a resource guide, and it has all the different veggies and meats and things that you'll cut up and what speed to use. So it's a really good place to start. But other than that, reach out to your consultant. We love to get in and help you guys with things like that. Beautiful. I can see Nat has another pizza there.
Yes, so this one we're trying something to be like, you know, when you go out for Italian pizza, I mean, what we just had you can order, but you know where they have like the fresh basil and then they pop on like the prosciutto after, you know, in the rocket, you know, and you have that like nice fancy. So I'm going to make like a fancy Italian pizza. So I've just got pizza sauce, basil leaves, bocconcini. I'm going to put a little bit of the mozzarella because cheese is life, and who doesn't love a 3 cheese pizza? Who agrees? Yeah. So just going to pop that on, and that's just going to cook like that. And then when it comes out, we'll pop the prosciutto and fresh rocket, and even you could pop in like goat's cheese. We love that Meredith Valley one. You can pop that on for extra flavour. I've also got for later on, we were talking about using your thermi. I made some shredded chicken. So I literally it's probably like half a chicken breast. Just in the thermi, there's a steamed chicken recipe on Cookadoo, which is what I used in the Varoma, and then just popped it back in. I think I did 3 seconds reverse speed 5 and shredded chicken. So I know some of the ladies here do it for lunch prep and things as well. It's not just the pizza. So that's going to be another pizza as well. So let's get this one into the oven. So I'm going to get man on duty. Let's do this. There you go, nice and close. Even doesn't it look pretty colour, even just with the sauce and the green? It just looks pretty. It's bust. Did I not do it right? There we go. Ready? There we go. Pull it back. Wait, it's not round. Well, my pizzas are never round. I've got to say that when I do them in the oven, they are never round, okay? But I still want it sort of semi.
It's a good taste of pain.
Semi-round. Yep. So when you use that semolina, that is it. When we first made our first pizza, it was an epic fail, okay? I'll tell you that. I didn't do enough research, didn't have enough semolina. It was hard enough, actually. We couldn't even get it onto this thing for starters. It started to fold and fall all over. And then I laid it out, finally looking like a train wreck. Then trying to get it into here, it folded over. All the topping was burning on my on my plate. And I'm like, something. And so I just checked again, and then all it simply was just this. You can get it, Woolies have their own brand. This is from Coles. It's just the semolina. It's just like a cornmeal. What's it made of? Is it like a cornmeal? I think. No, wheat. It is wheat. So it's just really finely grained, and that is actually in the dough as well as what you use. So you can see that. Look at that. This is how good that dough is. Look at that whole popping up at the back.
Well, that's massive, but it comes down as it goes.
So good.
You just can't get that in a normal oven.
No way. No, you can't get that temperature. At the moment, it's at 400 degrees. You can't do that in an oven. And the texture too, like the air. You can see the crust is already puffing. I learnt that if you're not in there, there's a Facebook OVANA group, and it's amazing. There's so many tips and everything. And Mario, who's like a pizza king, who won lots of awards, does lots of stuff with pizza. He talked about making the edge a bit, like you're talking about how to, just that little bit extra around it, and you can see how it makes such a difference because you get that really nice crust rather than making it all level.
And you'll eat it. You won't chuck it.
No, and I don't eat crust, but when I make here, I eat the crust. He wishes
I've
I were
already
eating
had dinner,
pizza.
but I'm so hungry.
Yeah, you read my mind.
That is it. The
Yeah.
Avana Pizza Oven Community, that one, or a different
Yes,
one?
that's it. Yeah, yep. It's an official, like it's not official, but it's run in conjunction with, I think Mario's the admin, and that's got all customers and consultants. It's not just a consultant group, like it's customers and consultants. Anyone that has an Avana, but it's a great place to get all your tips and ideas and learn what you think did. But as I said, the main thing is have that semolina when you roll it, pop, and don't top them and let them sit for too long. Do it as you go. So the dough is just sitting still, the last one. So one batch of that one's Napolitana dough. And I don't know if you want to post that link. It's called Napolitan Pizza. There's a pizza oven collection on Cookadoo. It's in that one.
Thank you. I went to look for it before and I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah. So it's called Napolitan Pizza, but we'll just do the dough part of it. And that's made especially for this. And you get 3 decent size pizzas. Just going to turn this down a little bit. It's just cooking a little bit fast before the dough is cooking. So you can adjust on here if you need to, if you think that the topping's cooking a little bit more, because ours is just still holding the heat. So even though the door's off, so you heat it up with the door, it holds the heat really, really well. Put that cheese bubbling, I don't know if you can see that.
That looks so good. What else have you done in there, Nat?
What have I done? We did like a naan bread type of thing. I want to do the tandoori chicken skewers. So that's in the collection as well. You also get a booklet with it, which has all the recipes, and actually has Thermomix and non-Thermomix recipes versions in there. So you can have an Avana without having a Thermi as well. But why would you do that, really? Because you need to make your dough and your sauce. What else was there? There was steak. What else is there? What's in that collection?
The tandoori chicken, did you say that already? Sorry.
Yeah, that one, because you can get those long skewers from the mix shop and they're metal. They can go in there and handle the heat. And they go onto the sizzle pan and you pop them in.
Don't use timber skewers.
No.
No.
Not a good idea.
Not at 300 degrees.
Yeah. Oh, chicken wings is another one I want to try.
Yes. Oh, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, on our branch link tree, there's a barbecue chicken wings Ovana class coming up on the 18th that they're going to do. Yeah, in the
I might get watch and get some tips.
That one. Yeah.
I think it looks good, this one. So let's get this one out. We'll show you. So remember not to put anything sharp on your mat. If you cut it, you need to get rid of it because it's got fiberglass inside. So you always want to make sure. Look at that. Cheesy goodness. Got the basil in there. So now what you want to do is top it with some beautiful fresh I found this prosciutto at Coles. It's a new line and it's Aussie, which is really good. It's really soft and delicious. Found it today. And some rocket. How's that look? Doesn't that look like a... Imagine if you brought that out. You feel like you're at a Italian restaurant. You guys think? So yum. And then, like I said, you can put some goat's cheese if you want. All right. I'm just going to have to screenshot that first, ladies. Because it just looks so good. All right, should we give it a cut? I'm just going to do this one in 6 so that each person gets a prosciutto. A bit of rocket. And then we have pizza number 2. Italian looking. Look at the rise on that crust.
So good.
Delicious. Did you guys say taste test? Every time. I don't know. You're forcing me. Okay, we'll give it a go. Get some basil. Oh, I think that's my new favourite.
That looks good.
Amazing. Yum. Who's up
I'm going to be
next?
so disappointed with every single pizza I ever eat ever again now.
What's
until
that?
I eat it. I'm going to be disappointed with every pizza I ever eat now again until I have the Ovana oven.
Seriously, and I know like we talk it up, but it's worth talking up, honestly. And one of the awesome things too about the Ovana is Thermomix, when they were looking at getting a pizza oven, they did look what was around, see if there was any brands that they could, have at the mix shop. They weren't happy with anything they found, so they got, after their research, they got all the best bits of all the pizza ovens that they saw, and they actually designed and made their own pizza oven. So it's exclusive to Thermomix and has all the best features. And for the price, if you go and compare pizza ovens for what you get, it's definitely. And then if you buy a TM6 this month till 22nd of August, it's half price. You're getting a pizza oven for, what is it, under $300 to get this. That's like probably only like 10 gourmet pizzas. They charge about $30, don't they? For a gourmet pizza. And you only make 10 of them and you've made your money back. So there you go. Excellent. Have we got anyone else to show anything? Are you making your hazelnut spread?
Yeah, so the whole time, this is the whole time you've been doing that, my base is still cooking in the very boring oven. It's not quite crisp enough. So I'll just put a photo when we send out, are we sending something out? Yeah, we'll send a follow-up and I'll put a picture of what it looks like at the end. But the topping that's going to go on top of that grain-free pizza is just a hazelnut spread. So it's just a homemade version of Nutella, I suppose, without all the added stuff in it. So in your basic cookbook, where is my basic cookbook? In your basic cookbook, when you have your Thermomix, I think page 90, there's a hazelnut spread. This one's similar, or maybe it's the exact same. No, this one has a few different things. So this one's hazelnut chocolate spread. It has a couple of different ingredients. It has maple syrup instead of, the other one I think has sugar in the basic. It's late. I haven't had pizza. I'm going to leave a few ingredients out. So I'm just going to make a really quick hazelnut spread. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to start cooking. Yes, I do want to start cooking. There we go. So 150 grams of hazelnut. So this is the recipe that I use to wean my children. I'm very mean. This is the recipe I use to wean my children off sugar. We made hazelnut spread and I made it with sugar first, and then I moved it to maple syrup, and then I reduced the maple syrup.
I've put 2 in the chat box. One is refined sugar free and the other one has raw sugar. So
there we go. I knew there was some kind of difference. So that's just the hazelnut. That's also a base we use for a lot of cooking. But yeah, if you want to reduce some sugar in your house, it's a good way to, it says to scrape down. I'll just tap it down. It's a good way to, you can just slowly start reducing things by doing that. So 40 grams of cacao powder. Same thing. This is a bit bitter if you're just going from processed food straight to this. So we used like chocolate drinking powder to start with. You know, tricky weaning. And then 100 grams of maple syrup. You can start with 100 if you wanted to reduce sugar. You can just slowly take that down. We don't use that at all anymore. And then 100 grams of milk. You can also use almond milk or any kind of milk you like.
Erin, I thought you mentioned in the chat about the tray with the toppings on here. So this is just from Coles, but I have a Tupperware one too, but they are awesome. We use them for tacos, pizza night, good when the kids do pizza. Even like when I've made like things like lamb kofta, we can put feta and Greek salad, like it's always a good little serving thing. Makes it easier.
So good. This is my favorite. I don't know if this will make it on the pizza. So that's just a scrape down of the sides. At this stage, it's just going to make it a bit smoother now, but at this stage, this is actually really nice inside of, so the same, like if you have a basic dough, this is actually really nice inside of, it kind of is like a, like a fudge kind of inside of a dough, and then it will melt when you cook it in the oven. It'd be amazing in the pizza oven, actually. So at that stage, I would put it inside of dough, wrap up the dough, put the dough inside the oven. But if I go a little bit longer now, I'll make it a little bit smoother. And I normally add a little bit more.
I love seeing how each of you are like checking what you're doing, you know, checking consistency, checking flavor, all those sorts of things. It's exactly the same way we cook on the stove, and you did the same thing with your Thermomix. Nothing changes there.
Funny you should say that, Hannah, because when I was deciding whether to get one or not, I'm a stove cook, you know, like, and I was thinking, will I use a Thermi? Like, how it's going to fit into my style of cooking? But like you said, that just fell into place. You're still testing, you're still tasting, you're still, you know, so it's interesting that you pointed that out.
This is delicious. So you can, obviously the more, I don't want too much milk in it because I've got normal milk here. If I had almond milk, I might make it a bit smoother, but so this is the chocolate spread that now would go on the top of my pizza for a dessert pizza, and I'll top that with either bananas and strawberries, or I might maybe wrap it in something, or I might just eat it. Not really sure. But so I definitely put maple syrup in it.
I might just eat it.
But definitely put the maple syrup in it if you haven't yeah, if you're going from store-bought Nutella to homemade chocolate spread, you definitely need it's very different without the sugar in it, but yeah, it's delicious.
It's quite bitter without the sugar in it, and the milk does help temper that down a little bit, doesn't it? But it's definitely still quite dark. Definitely. Probably the way to quite, dark chocolatey.
Yeah, so normally like my kids this raw without any sugar, they would only eat this, like, because we're going to do it on a pizza, they're going to have fruit and stuff on it, they'll eat it. They wouldn't eat it like this straight on toast, or you know, this is too bitter for them straight up. But when I'm putting it into, like, baking it in something and like sprinkling it in cinnamon or something, so if you're adding it with something else sweet, it's perfect. But yeah, that's exactly what you said, Hannah. You can do it to taste. Isn't that the beauty of the Thermomix? You can just...
Yeah, and I played around with this a lot when I was trying to, because we don't have Nutella at our house, but the grandparents do. So I decided to make my own for home, and it took me a little while to get the consistency right to try and wean, like you say, wean off the Nutella, and then you know, change that habit into a sometime, all those sorts of things. But yeah, it took a little bit of. I added some milk powder actually to help out. I didn't add the milk, but I added milk powder, which helped a little bit to sweeten the blow.
Yeah, I don't have any at the moment, but avocado oil actually is really smooth. So a little bit of avocado oil smooths out like the texture of the nut. Like, yeah, if you don't want to put extra milk. So I like almond milk and avocado oil. That makes it quite smooth. But yeah, just whatever you've got on hand, especially right now when I'm trying to pinch the pennies. Whatever's in the fridge cupboard, that's what we're using.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I love about homemade pizza, that you say that, Rochelle, because we pretty much, if I'm not sure, we just use what we have. It can be any types of topping. What's in the fridge, I keep some in the freezer.
And you're making another pizza over here, Nat?
Yes, we've got our last one. So you get 3 from the one dough, which is pretty good. Don't ever do like a double batch of dough. If you're going to do it, always do it separate, because for your machine, it literally doesn't take that long. Like, it needs only for a couple of few minutes. So you can have 2 batches done in under 10 minutes anyway. So 2 batches will do 6 pizzas. So add some more. I'm going to do barbecue chicken, but I forgot. But anyway, we have pizza sauce now. I might do like a supreme style with what's left. And then what I do is if you've got leftover topping, you can see here that I cut up a fair bit. And then what I do, whatever's left, I pop it all in a bag together and I use it for pizza scrolls for the kids, like for lunch boxes, with my leftover. So don't worry if you're not sure how much you need. It doesn't matter. Just, freeze it in a Ziploc. I use those ones from the mix shop, the silicone ones, and then I just make pizza scrolls with it. And you can just blend it up, like pop it in the Thermi, chop it all down together so it's the same consistency, and then pop it on your scrolls. Either make the pastry or even just sometimes I'll just use puff pastry if I just want to do it fast.
You can turn it into omelets too, or dishes or something, anything really.
So many different things. I even use it for your pizza again, like another time. Pizza pockets is another thing I've made. Frittata, like those, like similar to your omelette. Zucchini slice, chuck it in there.
And you can freeze those toppings, but sometimes you just got to remember, if they release liquid when you defrost them, make sure you get rid of the liquid before you put it on your pizza.
Yes. So I've got some pepperoni on there, some onion, some mushroom, and I'm going to pop some olives on. You can see you've still got a range of toppings, you're just not overfilling it too much. I'll pop a little bit of here. I didn't end up using the chicken at this point. I was going to do a barbecue one, but I'll save that. Let's see. How's that? That looks good. And I might put some basil because that was really nice. The basil on there. And if you're not sure what to do, I sometimes will look at pizza menus, from pizza shops to get ideas on what toppings you want to do. If you want to try something different. And you'll find with these, you use less cheese. You don't tend to pile on the cheese as much. I like putting a variety. I like doing a bit of bocconcini with it. Just different texture. It melts really nice with that high heat. There we go. That's our next one. So happy to get up and pop that in oven. So in between pizzas, just make sure that you pop your door back on, just to keep the heat up in between. So you can see on the paddle again, we've got more semolina, and there's semolina on the mat as well. Beautiful. Didn't get the whole pizza.
There
You got to do it fast.
And that's real.
You can't move it now. You just got to
It's gonna be all right.
oh my goodness. There we go.
Good recovery.
Yeah. Except I was in his way when he was trying to release it. You move it back in a sec. Can you get the thing? See, this is real life.
I don't think I could watch you make pizzas all night.
Wouldn't normally be filming every pizza.
No. So we're not in the right spot. You know, we're like when you're standing in the spot. It's like, I'm going to elbow you if you're in the wrong spot. It's already started.
It does have to be like a quick jerk.
Yeah, definitely.
Does the stone come out? Do you have to clean it or anything? What's the maintenance like, Nat?
So this stone, they do say after you finish cooking, you can turn your oven up really high just for half an hour just to loosen that what's on there, and then you can like scrape it out once it cools. So you got to be careful with washing it because going from cold to like to hot can crack. Like you just got to do it in the right way where you do it. But in that group, there's lots of tips. Like if you just searched that, I don't want to give the wrong tip, but you just want to make sure that it is dry when it goes in there. It's not wet, that sort of thing. But they just say, burning it off at the end. So you can see ours is pretty, we've done a lot of pizzas. You can see it's not too bad.
If you do wash it and you see steam coming off it, make sure it doesn't go too hot or it'll crack.
Yeah. So you there are some tips and stuff just to make sure.
Yeah, cool. But it's pretty easy.
Yeah, really easy. You can see how ours is. Well, we've done a lot of pizzas and you're going to turn it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the first time I've done that thing with the crust, and it's massive difference.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Did I see somewhere in the chat someone said about putting something in the crust?
Yeah, mozzarella. Someone said.
Yum.
Oh, yeah. The girl on the living room made pizza last Friday with kids' mozzarella sticks wrapped into the crust.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Sorry, yeah, that was me. It was those kids' cheese sticks.
It would be delicious.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it looked delicious, and the crust just pulled apart, and all the cheese was so stretchy and delicious.
We'll have to try that another time, I think.
Wow.
What were you going to say, Hannah, before?
I don't know. I'm too busy watching the pizza be turned around. You can buy replacement stones if for whatever reason it gets broken along the way. You can buy just the stone on its own to replace it. So, I guess it's seen as a more, replaceable item, but not really necessary like in the short term. But over the long term, you might have a clumsy other half who drops it and things like that. So,
yeah. That's what's great about with all things Thermomix, isn't it? Like you can always get different parts and things to get new ones. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and like Emily said, there's no wood needed, no coal needed for this pizza oven.
Just got the gas bottle. That's it. That's all it is. It's
only got one burner, so it doesn't burn a lot of gas.
Yeah, and we haven't we've done quite a few, and we haven't had to fill our bottle in quite a while. Like we did a party, and I did about 15 pizzas or 20 pizzas at the party. And we've done this one and more, and we haven't had to refill the bottle. So
I got the carry bags with mine.
Yep, that's free at the moment, isn't it? The cover, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was trying to work out what to do with the door and the handle. Do you turn the door around and the handle goes in for storage?
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking, because the handle sticks out and you can't get the cover on.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, I would turn it around the other way, Naomi, or can you slide it inside the door when it's not in use?
Turn the handle around.
Obviously you'll just need to wait till it cools down.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to put that in the carry cover when it's hot anyway.
No, I know. Yep.
Yeah. Poor hubby was just saying that's what he does too.
Yep, sweet.
Oh, there you go. It's not incredible pizza, Nat.
Oh, doesn't it? Looks amazing. I could zoom in. Is that zooming in for you too?
It is.
Yep.
That is crazy. We learned something new. I didn't even know you could do that on Zoom. Oh, pizza.
Oh, yum.
Wait, I'll see if we can get the whole screen. Yeah.
You know how you were just saying how many pizzas in one night?
I think we did. How many people were there? There was about 8 adults and
so double that. Plus a
2,
few.
4, 6, 7 kids, maybe 15, 16 pizzas, and everyone got one. Like they weren't even waiting that long. Like in between, we just pumped them out. About 16 pizzas.
Some people have it.
Yeah.
We
Pretty
might have
impressive.
to have a cook-off one day. We should do a cook-off really soon. So I've got a it's over $1,000. It's a wood fire pizza and smoker. It takes about 3.5 hours to warm up. And we thought this is going to be the best ever pizza party for our daughter. Everyone was waiting, like it was like 20 minutes to cook each pizza. It was ridiculous. We did everything right, followed all the instructions. Oh, that looks delicious. But every pizza, like it only fit one pizza in at a time, and it had to cook. We should have a cook-off. My ridiculously expensive pizza oven against Anna.
Yeah, and I'll be eating while you're still cooking.
I reckon.
Yeah.
I paid a lot of money for that.
We're having a food camera.
All right.
No more taste testing. It's not fair.
Too late.
Too late.
What's that thing you're cutting with, Nat? Is that?
Oh, I don't have the Thermomix one yet. It's just a pizza cutter. Like
There's one like that in the mix shop, though, isn't it?
yeah, there is. Yeah, I just haven't got it yet. While that one's still kicking, I haven't changed it yet. So, pizza sauce makes a difference. Even if you're doing oven pizzas, seriously try making pizza sauce because it just takes that flavor. This dough is probably the best one I've done actually. You want those air holes. And I proved it over the the thermoserver method. I don't know if anyone does that, where you pop the hot water in the thermoserver because it's quite cold here. And then I had it in the bowl with glad wrap over it. It tells you to put glad wrap and then a tea towel, and I just had it sitting on my thermoserver. And it was proving all afternoon, probably a few hours, just because the weather's not that hot. And then ready to go. And you can even make it the night before. When I had the party, I made, 6 batches of it, and then just popped it in containers and popped it in the fridge. And you can keep it in. And what it does is it still proves in the fridge. It's just called a slow proof. So you think you need heat to prove, but it just makes the yeast proof faster. So you can still prove in a cold environment. It just takes longer. And then you just need to bring it out and have it at room temperature before you use it. So you take it out depending how the weather is, an hour, half an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, and bring it to room temp, and then you can use it. So you can do all your prep the day before or in the morning and stuff as well. There you go.
And now we're just burning it off.
Yeah, so now it's just on with the door shut.
Full heat.
Full heat. So it's just building up the heat up there. You can even get we bought one, a thermometer that will check the heat of the stone. But we've just learned as long as you get this to about 450 to start with, then you can, you want it to sit at 350 to 400 while you're cooking the pizza, just to make sure it stays hot enough.
You're just heating up the stone.
Yeah. There you go.
The oven heats up constantly.
What does everyone think about the Avana? And it's like we call it, don't we, girls? The ultimate companion to the Thermomix.
How do people get one, Nat?
They can get an Avana. So if you haven't got a Thermomix and you want to buy one, you can till August the 22nd, you can get a half price. If you do have a Thermomix and you want one, that we have them at the mix shop, and you could buy them through your consultant link and grab one that way as well. So there's 2 options at the moment.
Well, I'm never going to cook pizza again because that's boring unless I have an Avana.
So now you know you need to earn one, don't you?
I know. Well, there's a third way you can get an Ovana is if you jump on board and speed through some training before the end of August, you could earn yourself an Ovana or a half price Ovana. That's a good incentive for consultants at the moment.
You
Do
guys
you have anything else?
Jo, did you have anything else to show?
No, I'm all done with my end. Those pizzas look amazing.
Oh, they are incredible. Seriously. Like I said, you wouldn't know it's not a bought one. Tell ya. So there you go. I think that's it, ladies. Has anyone got anything else to show? Are we all done?
No, I'm going to just take my jealousy and head off for the night.
Road trip into Pizzaville here. I'll leave you some.
I'm going to